Sometimes we see a lot of competent people, but they are nowhere to be seen. We don't hear about them in news, we don't see them on social media often. So what's the core message? That even if you build, let's say, the necessary skills, it's consistency that kind of keeps them there, because if you're not polishing your skill day in day out, you would lose them. And one more important thing is build in public, no matter what your imperfections are, because building in public requires courage. It requires you to hone yourself consistently from 100 different angles, because there could be 100 different, let's say, opinions coming to you. Be untriggered. Always keep your emotions in check. So the men who can stay grounded in chaos kind of hold power in every room. We don't know what our potential is, but by just observing quietly and silently, you just get to know the power games. Guys, namaskaram. So in this video I wanted to talk about what makes a man, and I add man in quotes, truly respect worthy. So these are certain principles that I'm sure you might have heard somewhere, but these are like from a longevity perspective principles that just work. Like if I have studied, like let's say, some of the greatest minds and thinkers in our times as well, some thinkers which kind of preach or let's say embody these principles whom we genuinely respect. So I just wanted to help you understand a little bit of these insights. I mentioned it in one of my videos that respect, your respect is something that you should not give to everyone. Now, be courteous, be kind, but don't unnecessarily respect anyone until and unless you have data about them. So, we would admire people for their skills and certain, let's say, qualities they have, but we won't respect them until they have earned it through merit, or when we have seen that they are a person of character or integrity of sorts. So this is also one more thing which I see, that being a male, and I put male in quotes, doesn't guarantee respect. Your presence, the way you hold yourself, must command it. This is a quote by John Wooden, wherein he says that you should be more concerned with your character than your reputation, because your character is who you really are. And I unquote. So you see, reputation is kind of subjective to external situations or external people, or what the average society would say about you. But character is something that is deeply personal, deeply subjective, and you're always aware of it all the time, because you know in what places you are kind of acting with integrity. And if you are a person who always kind of makes excuse and is, like, rarely very good at doing anything, people would themselves from you, because from a long term perspective, people only respect those whom they see as genuinely having a value filled life per se. Now the second thing is, sometimes we see a lot of competent people, but they are nowhere to be seen. We don't hear about them in news, we don't see them on social media often. So what's the core message? That even if you build, let's say, the necessary skills, it's consistency that kind of keeps them there, because if you're not polishing your skill day in day out, you would lose them. And one more important thing is build in public, no matter what your imperfections are, because building in public requires courage. It requires you to hone yourself consistently from 100 different angles, because there could be 100 different, let's say, opinions coming to you. Of course, not opinions are to be taken, let's say, from an execution perspective, but still, you get the point that you kind of refine certain things. So, I would like to quote two great thinkers. One is Aristotle, wherein he says that we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act but a habit. So, the consistent act of kind of going again and again and again and kind of maintaining your skill set of sorts. And then the second quote is actually from Theodore Roosevelt. So he had given this speech in 1910 in Paris, and I had talked about this in my Hindi channel. But it's on the people who are actually in arenas. Quote, it's not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming. but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end that the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. So I think the people who are always on the outskirts, this actually goes in a little bit contradiction with the earlier point that I had laid out, but just from a contextual sense. Be competent, build that competence day in and day out, and then earn reliability over it. Now, the third thing is be untriggered. Always keep your emotions in check. So, the men who can stay grounded in chaos kind of hold power in every room. We don't know what our potential is, but by just observing quietly and silently, you just get to know the power games that is being kind of played subtly in an arena of sorts. And then Marcus Aurelius says it best that you have power over your mind, not outside event. Realize this and you will find strength. So it's the conscious choice to respond to certain situations and not react compulsively that kind of helps us drive in a more strategic way our life in general, and it's a certain decisions that we need to make from a long-term perspective. Now, another very important thing is back your words by your actions. So if you say it, mean it, and if you commit to something, just keep up your commitment, deliver to your promises, because once you kind of act in line with your words, you kind of build a credibility of sorts, and then it kind of shapes your own truth. So by keeping your actions in a line with your words, you build your own truth, and that helps you build credibility, which further helps to strengthen your character. The next point is be mentally strong and also physically. Of course, you might have heard from a lot of places, but there's a correlation to both of these things. So once you start exerting yourself mentally, it helps you to pick up challenges physically, or vice versa. Like if you grow yourself physically, it strengthens your mental fortitude. Isn't it best that we work at both of these things, let's say on an equal proportion of sorts? So this is how you kind of develop genuine strength for carrying weight of, let's say, your family, of the world when it is needed. And there's also this thing that some people who are, let's say, highly empathetic, they believe in a lot of charitable cause, so nothing bad against that, but before being, let's say, charitable, you should be independent and have a perspective wherein at least you're supporting yourself in a way that helps you to build yourself in the long term. So once you consciously tame your actions, lead yourself in a direction where you know that you can, let's say, earn to your heart's content, then only talk about giving supports to charitable causes and things like that. So no man is kind of free when he's not even able to master himself. This, I think, was said by Pythagoras. So that's how it is. Now this next thing is, don't be swayed away by trends. Know what your core principles are and stand on top of them, because in the end these trends would go like news flashes, but your character, your principles, your integrity would stay with you till the last breath of your life. So self-respect comes from the values on which you don't shake, even if the entire world demands you to shake. Right is right even if someone is against it. Like no matter whatever the world says, whatever the world speaks, if you know what your core principles and values are, like stand for them. Like it's a fight that one needs to put up. The next thing is don't chase external validation. So you might have seen that when you stop begging to be liked by the people around you, people actually start noticing you for who you are. And Lao Tzu says it best that care about people's approval and you will always be their prisoner. So Genuinely, don't become a prisoner of other people's opinions. Don't live your life on opinions, but the facts which you gather through self observation, introspection, and things like that. And wherever you are, in whatever situation, try to leave it better than the way you found it. So, always provide, let's say, more than money at times. It could be a sense of clarity, a sense of strength that you are able to manage that situation, or a sense of direction. These things like your values help you navigate, not money in general, and to leave the place a little better, because a lot of us are just kind of struggling day in and day out. So yeah, these are certain principles. Let me know what you feel about it. And until then, this is Debushish Pindra from Debu Ki Dastak signing off. Cheers. Bye.